What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I had to get into this because Umar Johnson apparently showed back up on the Breakfast Club, which we all know that Breakfast Club is one of the ways that he facilitates more money or gets more money out of the Black community because it's a largely urban platform where a lot of people from the urban areas, mostly I'm not gonna say mostly Black people, but when it comes to Umar Johnson, mostly Black people will actually tune in to listen to this guy, which is kind of sad because we're looking at a guy who has not done anything for the Black community. He doesn't raise any of his children, even though he has a book called The Black Parents Advocate. He doesn't raise any of his children. The school he's had these abandoned buildings for over 2,500 days, I believe. So he was how old was he when he got these buildings? He was 45 when he got these buildings. He's now 51 years old. So he's had these buildings for 6 years. There's nothing happening at these schools. These buildings have not functioned whatsoever. He's had plenty of time to get them done. Within the time that he had to get these done, we had a young man named King Randall who actually went and got a school, built the school up, not built the school up, but he brought a building and he renovated the building, and that took him 2 years. Umar Johnson is approaching, I want to believe, 13 or 14 years with his project, and that leads me to say this: that Umar Johnson is not bothered about this school scam. So as you walk over here on his Instagram, you can actually just see that he's not, focused on this. He's not focused on this at all because what you see over here is that he's just advertising a bunch of nonsense. And look, see, he's advertising. See, he's not really doing anything. I really want you guys to look at this. You see over here, he's going to be back in Gambia. He's going to be back in London once again, Rwanda. So he's traveling over the world like he did last year when he went to Switzerland. He went to Brazil. He was all in all these countries last year. He was in Ghana. He got his citizenship in Ghana. So this guy who's supposed to be working on the school said he does 300 speeches a year, and yet he's also traveling around the world. So where's the time to actually build for the school? And on top of that, if you can look at this paperwork right here, he says he works 60 hours per week at that school. And that's what leads me into this IRS tax fraud scam. He's not working 60 hours a week at the school whatsoever. Not even if he's doing online work. He can't even prove to you that there's any work being done because this school is 12 years late. It's not being done. And his priorities are elsewhere. So if you go and look at this, when you coming back, okay, so he's promoting himself like he's the big dog and all this stuff. He's promoting, look, when he needs donations, donate today to Marcus Garvey, yada, yada, yada. And I want you guys to look, he's so requested and he's so wanted, but in 21 hours, he only had 173 likes. That's kind of like weird. Look, people are sending him, look at this. He's not promoting the school whatsoever. Look at this. No, not promoting school. Look at this goofy picture. This is just sad. Just hilarious. I'm very disappointed because that's the person I thought was going to step up in this whole moment and actually, I didn't expect Cesar Pena and his house scammers to stand up. I didn't expect Charlemagne the God who co-signed Jay Morrison, the Tulsa race, the Tulsa, what was that, Tulsa scam, the housing scam, Jay Morrison that got out of Atlanta. I didn't expect Charlemagne the God because also he promoted Brother Polite. Brother Polite was caught in that hotel with the 14-year-old girl. So, the scammers, I don't expect them. Just hilarious. You missed a huge opportunity. You had this big goofy up there with you. You lost a lot of respect for me because I actually thought Just Hilarious was going to actually grill him and lay the wood down, be the man in the room. But apparently she couldn't stand up to the plate. So, piss poor performance, but for Just Hilarious, I mean, you're fucking pathetic, you piece of trash. So point blank period. It was actually even worse than Charlemagne the God. So, F her. Moving forward, you see he's promoting these platforms that he's going on. So when you look at what you guys are looking at, you're not looking at somebody who's building a school. What you're looking at is somebody who's a online streamer promoting themselves. This is what you're seeing right here. Is he doing more of it? Look, he acting like he doing something for this black dude that died. He ain't doing nothing for that black dude that died. He's using this black guy to say, "Oh, don't date white women. You black women donate to me. Don't date these white women because look at him." So he takes a anecdotal, statistic, one guy, and of course it's happened plenty of times. So, white girl killed the black guy. But what I'm saying is that he uses them, he pimps them out, he pimps the situation out to make himself look good and make himself look like, oh yeah, this is why I'm teaching this message because it's the right way. He's using these anecdotal statistics in order to, make himself look right. He's pimping out this black guy. I would actually argue that what Umar Johnson is doing to this black guy is actually worse than what the girl did, putting the bullet in him. Because now that she deleted him, Umar Johnson can now pimp him out. Look, this is one of his most liked things. I told you guys, look, if you guys look at the likes and all that stuff, he actually it takes a skyrocketing, it's 941. He averages like 105. Look at this, 105, 200, 87, 39. The most requested, you guys, by the way. He has over 1 million followers. Can't really do anything. So what he does is he's really good at pimping the ancestors out. Like he lies and say that he's related to Frederick Douglass. So he does love pimping dead black people out. I mean, if you go down his timeline, he really engages in this activity. And I mean talking about, bruh. I mean, I called him out in one video. Maybe he watched my video. I don't know. But he loves pimping out dead black people in order for him to, look good. You know what I'm saying? So besides that, look at this. There's no school being talked about. Look. He's not promoting that school. And this is his platform where he does all this stuff. He only gets up here and promotes the school when it's time for him to get some money, when he needs some donations where he can like move around the world. That's it. So what I said all that to say this, that he's not focused on that school whatsoever. He said he has 300 speeches to give a year. He doesn't have any staff besides himself. If you look at this paperwork right here, Umar Johnson is the only person on staff right here. Then he says he doesn't collect any of the money. However, he can't show any proof of where the money is, how much money he spent. And then he came out with this famous lie talking about, oh, well, now since that happened, I'm with a black bank. So you're telling me the whole time you were never with a black bank, even though you're telling everybody else to, buy black, do black, this black, that black, but you're not with a black bank. The contracting companies that are helping you with school, they're not black. But every time you turn around, you want black people money. And I ain't talking about black people from Africa because they ain't giving you nothing. Because in some of those African countries, PayPal and Cash App not even available, even though he doesn't have Cash App no more because they banned him. But that's not available. However, what I am saying is that when it comes to the translation of money and the transferring of money, like because their money is really worthless to some of the money over here when it comes to Canada money, when it comes to UK money, when it comes to American money, and they don't make a lot of money. There are some countries over there where people are only making $1 a day. You think Umar Johnson with their donations? Hell no. And they don't even have it to give him. So Umar Johnson's getting most of his money from Americans, from Canadians, from Caribbeans, from people from the United Kingdoms and Eastern countries. The same white countries that he complained about that he loves to go visit, like he was in Switzerland last year having a party. Umar Johnson's not focused on school, but he uses his school in order for him to facilitate money to himself. Now, let's get to the Breakfast Club interview. So as we get over here to the Breakfast Club interview, I just want to stop for a moment and shout out Lennon Arner, because look at this. So they have 6 million subscribers, right? 36,000 views, 64,000 views, 31,000 views. And Lennon Arner right here last night in 8 hours got 15,000 views. You know what I'm saying? Look, and they ain't getting what they got look, 8 years ago, Umar Johnson, when they were promoting Umar Johnson. 6.4. They're not getting that no more. But shout out to Lennon Arner. You got 15,000 views in 8 hours. They got 36 in one day. So Lennon is right up there with them. He's tracking with them. I'm happy to see that for him. Congratulations to Lennon Arner. But let's get to these goofies. And I only can play the audio because they struck me before, so I'm only gonna play the audio. But I don't even know what to say at this point. I mean, like, what do we really say to these people who this guy has come up there? He was up there in 2023 saying the school was finished. Now it's 2026, 3 years later. And just like clockwork, he's up there once again saying, oh, the school is about to be finished. The school is about to be finished. This is what he's saying. Again, how people who actually are getting things done, like King Randall, who built the school in 2 years, don't need 12 years like Umar Johnson to get a school finished. And he's up there, he's looking tired. This is pathetic. So I'm only gonna play the audio for you guys just because copyright stuff, and I really don't want to go with these guys. I'm gonna speed this up, and I'm gonna play the video of him saying that he was done in 2023, just for I can have evidence in this video of him saying that he was already done 3 years prior. Now I want you guys to know, a lot of black schools are available today. He's not doing anything special. He's not doing anything new. It's just a gimmick for him to have this tax fraud organization, and he's had these tax fraud organization since he was 45 years old. He's now 51 years old. Nothing has happened in the 6 years with these organizations, but he's gotten tax-free status where he can travel the world, get rental cars, live off the tax money. That's all he's doing. It's tax-free money. IRS, you guys need to check in. You guys need to check in with FDMG. he has his organization under a religious institution. So, usually with a religious institution, the IRS don't want to check. But with all that being said, let's listen to what this fool got to say.
Congratulations. We're just trying to get an inspection. On Frederick Douglass's birthday, we completed the renovations at FDMG, so we completely done.
So the school is done.
School is done.
Congratulations.
We're just trying to get in.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to stop already. Look, let me go to 2023 when he said the school was done. I cannot believe DJ Envy, the scam artist who had all those housing projects with Cesar Pena, flipping with E&J. I can't believe it. Now look at this goofy face he has on him. Like look up to the scam, bro. Jesus Christ. Let me go to the 2023 video, and we're gonna see him say that school is done. And I want you to actually listen to DJ Envy. Then I'm gonna play that right after. That way we can listen to Goofy say, "Oh, the school is done." I mean, DJ Envy, the school is always done as soon as he comes in the building with your goofy self. Okay, so I'm over here. I want you guys to look at the dates right here. This is Breakfast Club 3 years ago. Premiered December 9th, 2022. Okay, so I was wrong about the date. December 9th, 2022. But let's listen to Umar Johnson.
For the money that we had.
Wow.
So now we got the building. So what's been going on the past 3.5 years? Getting contractors who you can trust to help you with it. And contractors were not kind to us, man. They ripped us off. They scammed us. They stole out the building. The con is real. The con and contractor
I've been dealing with it for the last 5 years.
It's very real, brother.
Absolutely.
And then finally, we had our second FDMG festival this past September the 10th. And I said, you know what? We may have to step outside the African-American community to get this done because we've been waiting 3 years for our people to help us, not for free. We could afford to pay them, but they wasn't being honest with us and straight up. And of course, we know that's not all of our contractors. We want to be clear. We've met a lot of decent contractors along the way, but the ones who we had to use because they was licensed and certified where we are, they didn't really do us right. So I said, let's go with some white folks. And guess what? Here we are 90 days later. And the white contractors have gotten us to the finish line in 3 months versus 3 years waiting on our own people.
So what does that say?
It says that we need the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy.
So as you guys just heard right there, Umar Johnson announced in 2022 of December that the school was done. DJ Envy was present. He heard all the information that the school was done. They got some white people to finish it. And, black contractors were robbing him and all that stuff. Now, why is he up there saying this nonsense right here?
On Frederick Douglass's birthday, we completed the renovations at FDMG, so we completely done.
So the school is done.
School is done.
Congratulations.
We're just trying to get an inspection now.
You know what I find interesting, Dr. Umar? People.
Okay, so the school is done, but he said the school was done 3 years ago. So if it was 3 years ago in 2022 of December, so I'm really going to count that as a year, 2022. But if it was 3 years ago, what took him so long to get an inspection done in 3 years? If the school was done in 2023, let's say in January 2023, because he said it was done in 2022 of December. So let's go to 2023. If it was done, what took 3 years for you to get a inspection? Are you kidding me? That doesn't make any logical sense. He's the only person that works up there. He travels all year round. He has 300 shows a year. He's going to at least 7 countries a year. He's taking in donations. Nobody's counting the money but himself. He has no accountant. He has no banker, no nothing. He does have this rinkety-dink woman who does a tax. And I have the address to the people that does his taxes because I found it. And the reason I found it was actually kind of funny because I was tracking down the cars that he rent. And it just so happened that a tax place, and I actually put it in one of my videos, that there was this tax location right next to one of the cars that he rent. And once you go over to his tax information on that website, I pulled the tax forms. It actually links that tax organization that does tax refund. It actually, or tax, not just tax refund, but tax information and all that stuff, the tax business, whatever you want to call it. It actually links that organization in his profile when you go to the nonprofit organization website. So that was kind of funny that they're right down the street from where he rents that car from, and they're just right there. And you can just like Google the place. Anyway, that's not important. What is important, however, is that this is it's a tax fraud, man. It's a tax fraud. He announced it already on the Breakfast Club that he was going to be done with this school in 2022. Why are we in 2026 talking about, oh, I'm going to get my inspection sticker? Now, like I said, you go to the tax information, there's only one person on there. He says he works 60 hours per week, but how can you work 60 hours per week while you're traveling and doing 300 shows per year and then also going out of the country and traveling and having tours? That doesn't make any sense. Umar Johnson was 45 years old when he got this tax exemption and these buildings. He's now 51 years old. Nothing has happened in 6 years. It's been over 2,000 days. And these are just tax fraud organization. This is just a tax fraud organization for him to funnel money out of this tax fraud, which is tax exempt, and he can put it in his pockets. That's my accusation that I'm accusing Umar Johnson of. Let's continue this right here. My bad, I've been stopping the video.
People like to say you a scammer, right? And I say Dr. Umar has the school. The school is
I
there.
don't mind the allegations,
I've
but
seen
show
the renovations.
proof.
But the school is there. They can't say you didn't use the money
for 7
to
years.
buy the building, to renovate it, and all of that type of stuff. But I have heard people say he'll never get accreditation.
Well, here's the thing. You don't need accreditation.
So Charlamagne the God is now moving the goalpost. Now he's saying that the big problem is accreditation. No, the big problem is that he's been collecting money for over 12 years for a school that is not performing. The big problem is that he collected over $10,000 for a movie that he never put out, the shockumentary, which he collected $10,000 in 2023 for. That's the issue. So when we call him a scammer, we have proof behind that. And then Charlamagne the God, you have plenty of people that you can have and go pull this information. There's plenty of videos on YouTube. You and Andrew Schultz, you put your material on YouTube because it's monetized. So people, what I'm saying to say this is that he knows how to use YouTube. He knows how to use Instagram. He knows how to use his digital platforms in order to reach out to people, to contact people, to pull information from things that he needs. However, when it comes to Umar Johnson, all of a sudden his blinders on. When it comes to Brother Polite, his blinders on. When it comes to Jay Morrison, his blinders on. He never brings any of the people that's criticizing up there. I mean, why not pull Pocket Watching with JT up there, an actual financial advisor who criticized him? I mean, if you got enough money to pay Umar Johnson to go up there, you can't throw Pocket Watching with JT $5,000 and pay for his traveling ticket to come up there, huh? You can't do an on the phone call with him. I mean, this is what I'm saying, and it don't have to be Pocket Watching with JT. It could be anybody. Spencer Cornelia did a video on Umar Johnson, got over 100,000 views. But Charlamagne the God, he don't see those videos. He only sees what he want to see. He want to say tonal focus on, promoting Umar Johnson, the well-known scammer, the well-documented scammer. I mean, this is ridiculous right now. And I want you guys to notice too. Look at the attire that Umar Johnson has on. So he's not wearing his Philadelphia gear anymore. Now when he goes up here, he wants to look like, I got my Pan-African stuff on. Look at my Pan-Africanism. His attire is completely different. Because usually when he was out standing in front of that school, he had a Philadelphia jacket on. He had a Philadelphia hat on. And when he does a live stream, he has Philadelphia gear on. What he says is quote unquote white people stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, we need to buy black. So what's going on? So, but he dresses for the occasion. Whatever costume that he wants to put on, whatever performance that he wants to put on, this is what he's going to dress for. So let's get back to the conversation.
Accreditation to be an independent school. You follow what I'm saying? Accreditation is a voluntary process. On a university level, it's a little bit more mandatory. But for grade schools, your right to operate comes from the State Department of Education. So I can voluntarily go and get some white people and ask them what they think about my black school. But being Dr. Umar Ifatunde, I don't really care about the opinions of anybody outside of my community, so we won't be doing that. So if Charlamagne said, you know what, I don't want to send my child to FDMG because they're not accredited, then send them somewhere else. Because I know what we're about to do. We're about to change the whole game.
You think the State Department of Education will ever...
Okay, so you got a 51-year-old man up here about to be 52 years old talking about we're about to change the game. It's not even his age that he's 52 years old. It's the fact that he has a track record of not getting anything done. There's some people that get things done that's in their 50s and 60s. Umar Johnson is not one of them. Umar Johnson is camping out at his mother's house. So what are we doing right now? So he's talking about we're about to change the game. What documented thing has Umar Johnson actually provided to the black community? What documented thing, tangible thing, by the way, what documented tangible thing has Umar Johnson actually provided to the community? And don't you dare say that goddamn book. Now, you MFers come in my comment section, you're going to be blocked. He has a book called The Black Parents Advocate that he sells on Amazon, and he abandoned all 3 of his kids. So why is he advocating for other black parents when he optioned out of that in his own life? So let me get this right. You option out of being a black parent, but you're telling everybody else that they need to be black parents. I remember when he went on that rant. He went on a rant talking about you black men need to step up and be stepdaddies. What, for your kids? Like your older daughter had a stepdaddy, which she said she was thankful for and all that stuff. And I have nothing against stepdaddies, but I'm just saying you came out here and gave a command to your audience that they need to be stepdaddies. Meanwhile, you're optioning out of your kid's life. And at the same time, you have a book called The Black Parents Advocate. And it's weird, right? When you do a full circle on that, it's weird.
Agree to have this school?
Why not? I got all the credentials of any white person. In fact, I probably got more credentials than any other white person. So why not?
Because you're black. And
because you're black. Wow, what a piece of you. Oh my God. The greatest thing that happened to Umar Johnson. Let me say this loud and clear. White supremacy, as Umar Johnson says, is the greatest thing that he has ever happened in his life. Let me explain. Because of that, he can abandon his kids and pay child support. And his child support is based off what? Minimum wage, because technically he doesn't have a job. Because of white supremacy, which Umar Johnson's always complaining about, he can go on the airplanes and sexually assault black women, post a video on YouTube, and it still hasn't been taken down to this day. It's still on King Kong consciousness. Because of quote unquote white supremacy, he can get a tax fraud organization called FDMG and collect money. Because of quote unquote white supremacy, he can get Cash App and get the money through there. Because of quote unquote white supremacy, he can go out there and buy an Eagles jersey, an Eagles hat, and he has multiple of them. Like he has a bunch of jerseys, a bunch of hats. I showed him on my channel before. Because of white supremacy, he can use that tax fraud organization to rent his cars out with. Because of white supremacy, as Umar Johnson quote unquote says, he can pretty much travel the world, don't have to worry about getting a job, don't have to worry about taking care of his kids. Him and his mama live in Section 8 housing. Because of white supremacy, Umar Johnson is pampered like a child. He's just a child that goes on platforms and complain about quote unquote white supremacy and what quote unquote black people need to do in order to better themselves, even though he has not shown himself to do any of those things himself. He doesn't have a family, he doesn't have a job, he hasn't worked in over 15 years, he doesn't take care of his own kids, but yet he has all this to say about everybody else. So, and because of white supremacy, he can sit here on the Breakfast Club while promoting himself and doing absolutely nothing. And I bet there's some white guy in the background just waving at him, say, and it's probably some white guy in the background. He got his thumbs up. Oh yeah, Umar Johnson, good job, good job. I wouldn't be surprised some cracker in there just waving at Umar Johnson, telling him what to say. Anyway, I don't want to hear about this. You're black shit. I mean, I don't want to hear about that. You know what? Oh Lord, I'm not gonna say it, man. I'm not gonna say it because I was just about to go off on Charlamagne the God's child. Ugh.
You about to shake it up?
Because Charlamagne, your child is black, and who's paying you? These white people.
There may be
and you're black.
Thing that's going to alleviate a lot of that. We are not a government-funded charter school.
Gotcha.
We are an independent tuition base. If you don't pay, they don't come. So remember, the school we have was a charter school. I used to be principal at a charter school. I used to be vice principal at a charter school. And there's so many hoops you got to jump through in order to keep that funding. It ain't really worth it to me. Nearly every country donated to FDMG.
So when are you going to be opening the doors where students can start?
Well, we got to get a certificate of occupancy. I can't answer that. You feel me? That see, it's always.
Oh my God! So he can't answer any questions. So only thing he could talk about, and I just want you guys to notice that he just talks about theories. That's it. He's up there talking about theories the whole time. This is kind of disheartening. Just like listening to this stuff, man. And DJ Envy acting like he don't understand what's going on. So and that was a lie. He is not collecting money from every country, every continent in Africa. That's a goddamn lie. So. I mean, you have to prove me wrong on that because some countries and continents don't even have PayPal and Cash App. And some of them, these people don't even know about Umar Johnson, or they know that he's a scammer.
It's something holding me. If we had it right now, I'm confident we can start August, not this year because you only got a few months, but of 2027. You feel me? But the question becomes, here we go again. We're completely done. How long before you give us our paper so we can start planning for the children?
And
I can't answer that.
And with the children, what are you thinking as far as, I guess, attendance? Is it going to be paid? Is it going to be
tuition?
Free? Tuition. So kids have
they got to pay.
Tuition.
You don't pay, they don't come.
And everything. I got you.
And it's not going to be an issue for us because, number one, my popularity, my expertise, but also the demand. Where we are, if you look at the statistics for black children in Wilmington, if you go across the border and look at the educational statistics for black children in Chester, right? If you go across the border to New Jersey and look at the statistics for
what is he talking about? He has no board. He has no students, no teachers, no nothing. He has absolutely nothing. But yeah, he's talking about statistics in New Jersey. Okay, we're talking about Wilmington, Delaware. Why is he talking about, if you look at the statistics across the border and that statistic and that statistic? Well, Umar, how about this? If you actually look at the statistics of how much they pay to go to the school down the street compared to your school, my statistics are going to show that nobody going to your school, you freaking Negro. This is sad. Oh my God. I can't even push through this.
Black children in Southern New Jersey or Northern Maryland, it ain't great. You follow me? So the parents in that area, they're looking for an alternative to the charter school system that's always expelling their kids, to the public school system who ain't teaching their kids, to the Catholic school system who are always looking for a reason not to allow their children in. And we're going to be just that.
He said a bunch of nothing. Jesus Christ. That was a bunch of nothing. Bro, how long was this video? That was 3 minutes of absolutely nothing. He was just saying stuff. Hold on, let me see how long this video was. 3 minutes and 14 seconds of absolutely nothing. Jesus Christ, man. That is sad. Bruh. And this is what they bring onto their platform right here. Congratulations, Breakfast Club. You are the donkey of the day.